Hey everyone, Joel from Archery Supplies here, and today we are looking at the last of the carbon bows on the lineup for 2023. This is the BowTech Carbon One. Very exciting to get this one in. A little bit slower on the uptake than everybody else, but we got there in the end and it is here and we can have a look at it. So, let's go over the specs real quick. So we're looking at a 25.5 to a 30.5 adjustable draw length, so that's catering to the majority of the draw length out there. Sorry to you 6'5" plus guys who are going to need the 30s and 33s and such on. The IBO is 335, axle to axle at 30 inches, a brace height of 6.63, so about the same as the RX-7. And it's going to come in draw weights available of 50, 60, and 70 pounds. Now, the really contentious spec on this carbon bow is the mass weight. So we are coming in at a mass weight of 4.5 pounds on a carbon bow, which is pretty heavy. So, look, it's nothing new to talk about. I know that everybody has touched on this one, and it is heavy for a carbon bow. But we'll sort of talk about that a little bit more as we go on. Now, in terms of the overall design, the look and the feel and the fit and the finish of the bow, like, magnificent. Just so beautiful. It's sort of been actually a little bit of a contentious one in store. There's been a couple of people who are like, oh, I don't think that's the coolest looking riser. And like, to me, this is so cool. Like, look at this limb pocket. Like, it's awesome. It was slightly odd when they sent it to us. This part was empty, so gave us a little paper bag that had the orb dampeners in them and the part that goes through the riser here. And I assume that's sort of so that you can figure out where you want to put your orbit dampeners. I decided I was going to put them in the middle, so I put the little block in there and I put the orb dampeners in here. But you don't have to. You could have put them down there. You could have put them, wherever else they're going to be able to mount to. So I guess that's a little customizable sort of thing that they're letting you do. Now, the cams. So, anybody who's shot the BowTechs for a while is going to be recognizing this cam. And it is an awesome cam. We're getting the deadlock on it, which is really, really nice. Look, honestly, I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more bells and whistles on the cam. I've just gotten the Reckoning Gen 2 as my bow, and I'm going to do a review on that next. And there's so much cool stuff in terms of tech and all that fiddliness on it. And I just think for a flagship, it would have been nice to sort of maybe see like a let-off that I could change the shape of, and like the time lock would have been cool, and there's just some other things that I think maybe we could have like maybe expected on more of the flagship end bow. Look, that being said, the cam is an awesome system already, so it might be that I'm just like, I'm the guy who's just wanting change for the sake of change and for fiddling around with stuff, and that's not always beneficial. But let's get to how it shoots. Sorry, I'll stop rambling. Alright, so we've gotten a sight setting. We're going to do our classic 40 meters. I'll shoot a target group, and then I'm going to shoot a couple of hunting arrows with the broadheads on them. So, let's see how it groups. Feels beautiful to shoot. Super snappy. Like there's no real hand shock to mention. Like, I mean, I haven't been concentrating on trying to feel it, but you would have to concentrate to try and feel it. Let's check that now. Nah, feels super dead, super still. And that'll be, you know, the benefit of it being that little bit heavier. So, like the common sort of complaint that I've heard about this bow is the weight. It's just the overall weight, and especially it being advertised as like true carbon, and it is. It's amazing. It's a huge leap forward, I think, in terms of technology and development. And it's just that, where does it fit as a carbon bow? Like, how do we judge it on its merit as a carbon bow? Not just... Like, it shoots amazing. It feels great to shoot. Holds really well. Feels really, really solid at the back. Like, zero complaints with how it's shooting. Feels awesome. Nice. So, what do we think? Like, I think it's an amazing bow. I think it's an amazing bow, and I think you would get it because it's an amazing bow. I don't think you would get it because it's a carbon bow. I think, like, if we're talking about the criteria by which we are selecting, you know, our bows, like when we hear carbon, we were generally going to assume that lightweight is going to be part of the criteria for what we're selecting. It's not going to be ticking that box with this bow. Like, if you were wanting a light bow, this probably isn't going to be what you end up with. But perhaps that's not the criteria by which you're buying the bow, or perhaps it's not the most important criteria. Perhaps the overall weight isn't the only thing that you're concerned about. And in this case, does this bow stack up? That was a bad shot. But I think absolutely. I think it absolutely stacks up. I think it feels like a flagship bow to shoot. And like, when we're talking about weight, you know, it's like a pound. Like, it's not. It's that thing where it's like, oh, it's heavy, it's so heavy. Like, you know, and then I go and pick up my target bow and it's got like however many ounces of weight stacked onto it. Like, I know that I'm not like hiking through country or sitting in a stand with my target bow, but it's like, how much is a pound to you, you know? I would get this bow because I think it looks so cool. Like, I know it's sort of it's a funny thing, but like, just like, it looks like, you know, a cyberpunk future bow. It's like, you know, in the future city dystopias, this would be the sort of bow that I imagine, because it's just cool. It's just futuristic, I think. Holds really, really well. Like, I feel like I can aim it really, really steadily. Like, yeah. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm making excuses for it, because that's not it. It's just that, yeah, it's, to me, like, I wouldn't necessarily lump it into the carbon bow category. Like, just because we're talking about weight. You know, in terms of all of the other ways that it ticks the boxes, yeah, of course. But like, generally I'm gonna say that like, people who buy carbon bows want light bows. So, like, but if you want an amazing shooting bow, like, because I think it would be a fairer comparison maybe then in that case to like talk about this like compared to the Omnia or compared to say one of the like the Evos, or you know, talk about an aluminium bow, compare it to that, like, and then this is, I think it's killing them. Like, it's just it's priced like a carbon bow. God, it shoots good though. Like, I'm not quite sure where they're going down there, but I'm hearing soft thudding. Like, you can always tell when you're shooting well because you can't really hear the arrows hitting the target. If you hear it go bang, it's like, oh yeah, that was an 8, that was a 6, whatever. Cool. Alright, so that's the target group. Let's shoot the hunting arrows and see how they go. So, apologies. I did actually go out recently and I've damaged a couple of my hunting arrows. So I've only got 2 at the moment. So we're going to go straight to broadheads. So I'm not going to shoot field points first. I tested them. I got the sights with the field points. You guys are just going to have to believe me that they went in the middle. Victory, VAP, TKO, QAD, Exodus, Broadhead. It's a 4 fletch because I think 4 fletch is pretty. I'm going to change that though because they're very loud. I'm not sure if you guys have been able to tell on camera, but these 4 fletch max hunters are just like through the air. Anyway, let's see how these ones shoot. Oh. Didn't feel like I shot my best shot just then. Trying out a thumb trigger. Going away from hinge because I've shot all of my best scores for target with a thumb trigger. So whenever you change things, it's always just a new thing to get used to. So they've gone together. They're a little bit left, but like that's just me shooting them. Anyway, let's head down to the target and we'll see how we did. Okay, so we're down here at the target, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm really quite happy with that actually. Like, that was that bad shot that I made. That one I think I got a little punchy. I wanted it to go. And then I've got one out here, so 2 outliers to the group. But let's just go ahead and get rid of those ugly ones and make this look all nice and pretty again. And that's awesome. That's a great group. That's as well as I shot with the Mach 34. Which I thought was the best shooting of the carbons that I've tried so far. So my main group here is X, 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 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, and a 9 liner. Like, that's awesome. That's great. I'd be happy shooting that with the target bow. So, like I said, it shoots amazing. It feels great to shoot. It feels absolutely like, you know, every part a top of the line bow. The broadheads, so they're together, and they're slightly left of the center where I was aiming. You know, I'd probably test that, I'd probably shoot that a bunch more and see if that's consistent, because they felt like pretty good shots. So, we might have to do a broadhead tuning series at some point, because I'm still, like I've said, a bit of a novice with the broadhead tuning. I've always sort of just had a bit of luck with it, I guess, but clearly, depending on different bows, and maybe it's honestly just different days that I'm shooting, there's variation. So, you know, a bit of broadhead tuning would be interesting to do. Anyway, so, summing up, the Carbon One. Like, it's kind of a chimera, I think, is a good way to describe it. It's got a bunch going on with it. Like, And I think it does represent a leap forward, and I think this is what BowTech has always been doing and sort of pushing the boundaries of, which is awesome. I just love this. You've gotta see one. If you've got the chance to go and shoot one, you've gotta try it. Like, it would be a huge shame to just dismiss this out of hand because it's not a light enough carbon bow. Like, I think, like, by different merit, like not just by virtue of overall mass weight. And again, like, we're talking about, what, a pound? Maybe a bit more, a bit less? How much is that to you when you hold it out? Like, yeah, I think it shoots really, really, really well. I think it's nice, but like, I think I've got to compare it to the other ones based on like that defining feature, which is weight, and does it stack up as a carbon bow compared to, say, the Mach 1? Like, the Mach 1 shoots just as well as it, but it is light too. So I don't know. I think it's up there for me. It's really hard for me to call whether I would prefer the Mach 34 or the BowTech, the Carbon One. The interesting thing though is that the Mach 34 is a 34 axle to axle. This is only a 30, and I'm shooting as well with this as I did with the 34, so that's interesting. So there's so much to weigh up when you're getting a bow. Whenever you can, get into shops and hold them and you know, talk to them, and well, talk to the shop, not to the bow. Although if you feel like talking to the bow, you can tell it that it's pretty and that it shoots good. It might shoot better for you. Anyway, so summing up, I think the Carbon One, it's coming in like at a close second probably for me. I would have to shoot them back to back, probably all day. It's a beautiful bow. I think I'd like it just because it's so cool looking. But, you know, you gotta try these things, get into your local shops, try out the bows, talk to the people about them, you know, just put your hands on them and really see them. But this is absolutely, like I said, it's in my top 2. I like it better than the Era. Like, the Era is beautiful, but it's chunky, and it doesn't look anything like as sleek as this. Like, the Mach 34 was really sleek and really slim and well designed, but this is on another level again. And the RX-7, like, that was a nice bow, I just didn't shoot it well. So, yeah, it's like a real toss-up for me between this and the Mach 34. But it's a great bow. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Enjoy your shooting. Check out the Carbon One if you get the chance to. You definitely won't be disappointed. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.